Hi everyone and welcome. Today we are celebrating an incredible summer here at General Dynamics Land Systems.
Yeah, I think over the summer all the interns have worked on a lot of really cool projects, and I think it'll be neat to hear about everyone's perspective from different sections. So I think we should start off with some intros. I can go first. My name is Luke. I'm going to be a senior at University of Michigan studying economics. Prior to academia, I was a sergeant in the Marine Corps, and I'm working in the global marketing and communications department.
My name is Veronica. I am going into my senior year at Michigan State University. I'm studying public relations, and I work in the global marketing and communications department.
All right, I'm Kieran. I graduated from West Point in 2017. I spent the next 8 years as an Army aviation officer in operational and leadership roles. I left the Army a year ago, and I spent the last year at Stanford at their business school program doing a joint degree in business and environmental resources.
Delaney Wilson. I am a senior at Michigan State, and I am in the HR department at GDLS.
Awesome. So starting off, how has everyone's internship experience been so far?
Yeah, honestly, I loved it so far. This is definitely a little off the beaten path from a typical business school internship. And I've been with the strategy team, and they've kind of let me, the strategy touches a lot of different aspects of the business, so I kind of got a chance to go where I want, talk to who I wanted to talk to, and explore a lot of different projects. So it's been really exciting and really educational.
Absolutely. That was definitely something that I liked, working and collaborating with other groups. I really enjoyed that. It's been a great experience. I've been extremely blessed.
Yeah, no 2 days have really been the same, so it's really been exciting. Every day I kind of come in and work with different individuals and meet a lot of really interesting people, and I've learned a lot of intangible skills that I'm sure I'm going to carry forward with whatever I do, so it's been cool.
Yeah, I agree with all of you guys. I think for me personally in HR, it was nice to get a feel of all of the divisions within HR rather than just one specific topic like recruiting. They definitely gave me a wide range.
Yeah, and I think one thing we've also seen too is that we've got to see each other grow throughout each of these roles too.
Absolutely.
Where we each kind of came in at different points and at different times, and we all had different start dates, different end dates, but it's been cool to work together on a bunch of different projects and kind of grow together too.
Absolutely. So what project would you say was your most favorite and why?
I would say right now in HR we're implementing job templates to improve efficiency within talent acquisition. This also helps across GDLS just overall consistency. When you're going to look for a job and the postings are all consistent and you're reading the exact same thing overall, this just helps everybody internally and externally figure it out. So I think I worked with marketing to get the correct message that we want out there for what GDLS is, and then working with HRIS to get that implemented into our systems and our platforms. So that should be coming out soon. I think that would help everyone, even outside of HR, all of the hiring managers within all the different departments, be able to make it flow better when they're posting their rec.
Yeah, definitely. I think I've worked on a bunch of different projects that in the strategy team kind of, again, they touch a lot of different things, and so it's kind of wherever the need is greatest. But personally, as an engineering undergrad, I've always loved working with engineers. And so some of the projects have been kind of like niche internal projects where I got to work directly with engineers on both like where technology is currently at, but also the chance to look ahead of where we expect technology to be 10 years in the future. And it's been cool to kind of combine the technical knowledge with the experts and the forward-looking, where do we want to be in 10 years with the management teams.
I really enjoyed working with business development strategies and also just being in marketing. I think they both, they all connect in a way. So that was awesome. And I also say like my favorite project, well, I should say project, but handling the social media has been really awesome. I did a social media report. I did an analytic, basically a rundown on how we are performing. It was super neat. I always had an interest in like marketing research, so this is something I could apply more to social media, and it's quite frankly taking over like the world really right now. So that was super. It was helpful for me as an intern, and then I think I can definitely apply these skills back when I go back to school.
Yeah, I think it's hard to pick one project, but I really enjoyed working. I did this like economic impact report that explained how land systems is affecting Michigan's economy. It was pretty cool because I got to combine kind of what I did in the Marine Corps from a graphic design perspective and what I'm studying in college with economics. So it was neat to see that my coursework is kind of paying off and is kind of being proved in the corporate world. It's a good gut check that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing in school.
So going off of that, like what would be one word to describe your internship experience thus far?
I'd say clarifying. Being in the Marine Corps, I got to see contractors a lot. Not a lot of interaction. I was always kind of curious about what they were doing. So this summer's been really neat to kind of pull back the curtain and get a feel for what's going on kind of the more the civilian side.
Awesome.
I mean, honestly, I would have to cheat and use a compound word and say eye-opening. In my prior time in the Army, I got the chance to be on the operator side of the equipment that we use, and I found a lot of parallels between the way Blackhawks operate and the way that we maintain them and their strategic use, and the way that GDLS operates and the use case for armored vehicles. And it's been interesting to see that from the operator side, and then now kind of pull back the curtain, like Luke said, a little bit, and see the really complex ecosystem of the defense space, how it's moving into the future, how defense tech startups that are rapidly growing like Anduril are playing in the space, and how they integrate with the broader network. And then the same thing also with seeing how that integrates with both the customer from the defense side and the Congress and the appropriators as well.
I think one word I would say is rewarding, because I would say that the first time I walked through the doors as an intern on my first day, I was confident, I was excited to start here, but now wrapping up my internship experience, I can say that I have learned so much and I'm walking out as a completely different person. And that hands-on experience that I gained is incredibly helpful and will benefit me long run in my career path.
For me, I'd say exciting. I think being in the HR department, you get a fulfillment that sometimes you wouldn't feel in other departments. I think we get to help people start their careers, and that's such a good feeling to see and feel. You also get to help people end their careers with retirement, so you get to celebrate them. I think just all of that process, and that's just so little of it, is the exciting part, that every day is a different day in HR. Go through different things, deal with different things.
I actually had a spin-off of Kieran's answer. So you said it was eye-opening. Is it kind of what you expected, or is there anything surprised you coming from the Army side into the more civilian side of the defense space?
Yeah, there's definitely been two different surprises. One was the parallels between the Blackhawk and the rotary aviation world and the armored vehicle world. I don't know, tanks were always just something I flew over. I didn't think much about them. They were kind of down there. And it's been really interesting to see how much both the mentality from a leadership standpoint and an operational standpoint, how much the mechanics and the actual equipment itself is really similar, and how that then carries through the organization, through the defense companies that are large parts of that space, has definitely been interesting. And I think the other thing that was really kind of surprising to me was coming from the West Coast is kind of where all these new defense tech startups are coming out of the world, kind of following on after Anduril. And so there's a lot of negativity towards defense primes, and I kind of came from a year of being steeped in that. And it's been really interesting to come here and see what defense primes bring to this space, bring to the environment, and how they, instead of this competition of one versus the other, how they can work together and leverage the best of both. Has been really interesting to kind of see that play out across a range of different business units.
Yeah, sweet.
Yes, I can say that I have a pretty extensive knowledge. My dad was in the defense industry for over 40 years, and he really inspired me to pick this route. And I am very happy that I did. I love the mission behind it, and we know that we're doing something where there's a good ultimate cause at the end, and it's the community that really stood out to me working for 4 months, and I love it.
No, yeah. Totally the opposite, though. Did not know about this GDLS, but I mean, just being there for a few months, I mean, you develop all of those feelings.
Absolutely.
You don't have to be there for much longer until you develop.
Yeah, all right. Delaney, Veronica, thank you. This was awesome. I think we're going to talk to some engineers next, so let's do it. Hey, welcome everybody. We're here with some General Dynamics Land Systems engineer interns. I know we've all worked on a lot of really cool projects, so this is kind of a session where we can hash out what we liked, what we worked on, and everything in between. So let's start with some introductions.
My name is Max, and I'm currently in the research and development team at General Dynamics. I am a rising junior at the University of Michigan, and I'm studying mechanical engineering.
My name is Harry. I'm studying at Arizona State University, aerospace engineering. I'm a rising junior, and I also have been working in the future systems team doing internal research and development.
Sweet. I'm kind of curious to hear everyone's knowledge of land systems prior to starting. Kieran, you're a former Army guy. You have any knowledge?
Yeah, so honestly, it's kind of surprising for a lot of people, but I did not know much about GD or GDLS at all. As a Black Hawk guy, I was Sikorsky and Lockheed Martin all the way through. And so when I was looking for internships before this, that kind of through a friend of a friend brought up the idea of General Dynamics and GDLS. And honestly, what drew me in was the fact that I knew absolutely nothing about it because the tank world and the aviation world I thought were so separate. So this is another important part of why networks are so important, because otherwise never would have thought to even look to apply here, and I wouldn't have had the chance to be here this summer. So leverage your networks and getting to know open up the blinders outside.
Yeah, I think for me it's kind of the opposite, actually. I've always been sort of a history buff and just military vehicles of any kind, so I've always been a big fan of General Dynamics, both with the F-16 way back in the 80s, as well as their main, GDLS's main products being the Abrams and Stryker vehicle platforms. So I knew pretty well what I was going to be getting into, and that's what drew me here, really. But it's been really interesting being able to come in with an outside perspective, but no knowledge of what the inside looks like. And so starting from there, and this being kind of like the fantasy land of where to go, and coming in has been just really enlightening, I suppose is a good way to put it.
Yeah, my experience has been kind of similar to Kieran's, where I came in basically knowing nothing about defense. I knew some of the very big companies, but even GD I barely knew anything about. I kind of just had some mechanical engineering experience in my background that I was able to apply to this internship. But even when I was applying, I had no idea what I was going to be working on. Even the days going up to the internship, I had no idea what I was going to be working on, mainly because it's research and development, but still you kind of, with most internships, have an idea of what you would be working on. So that was my experience.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of in the boat of Max and Kieran here. I knew that GD was a defense contractor, and that was basically it. So when I was poking around for internships for this summer, it's like, well, I have some military experience, so it might make sense to look around in the defense space. And luckily, GDLS was close to my backyard. So now that you've been working here, what kind of skills have you been developing or using, both tangible and intangible, throughout your internships?
Max, you want to take it?
Sure, yeah. So at least with the project that I'm working on, which I won't get into too many specifics because I can't talk about a lot of it, but basically what I've had to learn in order to complete this project, which is essentially building a turret that can sit on a platform and be transported, I had to learn how to use something called SpaceClaim, which is a non-parametric CAD software, which is essentially you are 3D modeling without defining all the exact coordinates of every little thing, and it allows you to make changes much more efficiently than if you were to use a parametric 3D modeling system like SolidWorks or NX or any of the major names that you've heard of before. I would say that's probably the biggest skill that I've learned. Besides that, I've had to do a lot of things with Excel, making sure that I can calculate how much fuel that we were going to need in order to operate for a certain amount of hours, operate the turret, and then just do a bunch of small little research tasks along the way as well.
And I'll say on my end, I've also personally worked a lot more with Creo, which is another parametric 3D modeling software. And we've both done, actually, I think, a lot of market research of seeing what's currently on the market, just as far as other products, whether it's competition or something else. Getting a good idea of what's out there already is pretty helpful for figuring out what you need to make. Outside of the 3D modeling space, there's been a lot of collaboration, and really the engineering design process is something that I've gotten a much better experience, like firsthand kind of nitty-gritty experience with. And that's, comes down to engineering team. We're working on something, we get a specification or requirement from the program leads who are overseeing our project, and as they find out new information, they update us, and then we make new changes and go back to them with new designs, and then they update on that, and it's sort of a cycle that iterates on itself, and you end up with a product that is ideally functional and effective in the way you want?
Yeah, I would say definitely the main skill that I've had the chance to work on over this summer has been all about communication. The way the GSB works is you can choose a lot of your classes, and the way I structured my classes were a lot of the hard skills the first year and a lot of the soft skills for this next year. And so I expected to be using a lot more of the hard skills, the Excels, the PowerPoints, and all the different tools and tricks kind of within there. And while I have had the chance to use a lot of those, I found that wasn't really what was making or breaking, adding value to the team. What it really seemed to come down to was the fact that GD and GDLS is a very large organization with a lot of inertia. And when you want to make a change, you have to look 10, 20, 30 years out. And there's a lot of stakeholders that you need to get to pull onto your side to agree with you before you can start to turn that ship even a little bit. And that really comes down to communication skills. How do people receive information? What are their incentives? What's driving them? And leveraging the people around you to learn best about those people and what's driving them so you can make the best case for what you think is right. But it was all about that and all about those communication skills, not so much the Excel tips and tricks that you and I have talked about, Luke.
Yeah. So I think I've learned tangible and intangible things. We'll start with tangible. So Kieran's actually been a huge help. My knowledge of Excel was almost zero coming into here. So I feel like I'm constantly popping into Kieran's cube, and he's giving me some nice lessons. So I've learned a lot in Excel. And then intangible, I think, it kind of sounds cliche, but problem solving. I feel like there's been a lot of projects that have come across my desk where at first I'm not really sure how to tackle it, but I'm thankful that Land Systems has kind of given me the creativity and the space to figure it out on my own. And that's led to a lot of good networking, a lot of open doors, and it's kind of broadened my tolerance level for complicated projects.
Yeah, something I will add on to that, especially with the project that me and Harry have been working on, we kind of had to start from the very beginning with this project, where initially we had no concept of a design, we didn't have any requirements, we didn't have any sort of trade studies done for anything. So we really got to see both the systems engineering approach and the mechanical and electrical engineering approach to this project, both at the same time, which has been a valuable experience that most internships won't give you, because you're going to start with a project that is already like predetermined with like a list of steps you should follow, and just you're expected to carry those out. But with this project, we were really able to take creativity into our own hands, see things from top down, and really define what the project needs to do and how we'd want to execute it.
Sweet. I think we'll wrap up. I mean, is there anything you guys are going to take from this internship that you think is going to be really beneficial in your future career? Maybe that's not in defense, maybe it is, but I don't know.
Well, for me, I'll start off with Creo Parametric. I had never used it. I'd used a few other CAD modeling softwares before. Creo is one that the Army loves to use, and so for me to have gotten a very first-hand experience with it and get comfortable with it is going to be helpful for me in the future, especially. I wasn't expecting that. That wasn't one of the goals I had going into this. I thought it would be, using stuff I had already known before, but knowing that now is just one example, I guess, of a very easy to define skill. I just know that now, and I'll be able to take that with me forwards for years and years.
Yeah, I would say on my end, definitely the space claim software that I was talking about, just being able to develop concepts of a prototype with 3D modeling without having to define every sort of dimension and take or spend like tons of hours on it. I think that's a really valuable skill that I will definitely take into the future. Also, just the general communication between engineers that have different skill sets than you, being able to ask someone who has more knowledge on, for example, sheet metal manufacturing to come look at your design and make sure that it's actually producible. I think having the ability to do that, knowing where to ask and when to ask, is also a really valuable skill that I'm going to take into future internships and jobs.
I'd actually like to build onto that. I forgot one of the most crucial things for, I think both of us, you'll agree with me, is it's one thing to be able to design something in CAD, but making something that's buildable is a totally different ballgame. And so there have been a lot of moments where I'll finish a design and take it to one of the senior engineers I'm working with, and they have years and years of experience, and they can take a look and say, manufacturing guys are not going to like that. That's not either feasible or it's just it's unnecessary. And I'll get ideas for how to revise it and go back. And that's sort of an intuition thing that it just takes experience and practice to build. You don't really take a class. I mean, you can, but often people don't get the intuition they need ever from a class. You just need to have the first-hand experience of doing it and messing up to be told how to do it right and learn, and it stays with you then.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely. I've learned and had the chance to kind of refine a lot of hard skills and soft skills. I think the one thing I'm really taking away from this experience was the assurance that if you want to change or improve an organization, you always can. And sometimes, especially in big organizations, it can almost feel like you can't, but you can always get that done. It's just a matter of having the knowledge, the drive, the perseverance, and then corralling the team around you to make that happen. And on top of that, was also seeing that when you have an idea for ways you want to improve or change an organization, every single person, when I asked them, like, what are ways that we can make this place better, the way that their eyes absolutely lit up and the way they were just so excited to collaborate with you on ways to improve an organization is something that I think follows through for everybody at every organization. So that's definitely something I want to carry with me going forward, is the fact that everyone wants to make the people and the place around them better. And that's something that if you consciously go after and try and engage with people on, they're always going to give you 10x what you give them.
Yeah, I think what I'm going to carry away kind of goes off of engaging with people, and that's the network I built here. So I'm not entirely sure what I'll do, post-grad. I have a pretty good feeling it's going to be in the defense space in some way, shape, or form. So I think the network I was able to build here is going to be really beneficial to going forward. All right. Well, engineers, Kieran, thanks, guys. This was sweet.
Thank you.
It's great to be here.
Hello and welcome.
My name is Michael Grafley. I go to the Citadel. I'm a senior. I study supply chain management, and I work for the supply chain department at General Dynamics.
What would you guys say was your most favorable intern specific event?
Yeah, so for myself, it was the trip down to Lima with all the interns. That was a lot of fun. It's our GOCO facility, which is government-owned, contractor-operated, and our main lines there are Abrams tanks and Stryker vehicles right now. For myself, it was just really cool being a supply chain major in the supply chain department, just seeing some of the parts that I'm ordering and buying being shipped there, and being able to kind of see like what that environment's like and what all goes on there. It was also really cool to see the weld lab they have as well, because they explained how they have 150 different certificates that they give out to the welders, but they won't give all those out because of the cost and time it takes. And it was also cool to hear about the different materials they can use in the welding process, as well as like MIG and TIG and the different techniques.
I would totally say I loved the Lima experience. I'm a huge vehicle nerd as well, so that was a great time. But I'd like to highlight as well the intern baseball game we went to. It wasn't anything technical in any way at all, but it was a great chance for all of us I think that was the first time a lot of us met each other. And so it was a nice blend, maybe a break is a better way to put it, from the, always on the grind at work every day. And we got to take a step out, go to a little baseball game, have some fun, eat a hot dog. And it made it a lot more, enjoyable outside of the direct working environment.
It was like a little break from the typical day-to-day life, so that was nice. For me, I would say the lunch and learns. For a little bit background knowledge, we would have directors, managers, anybody representing a certain department come and speak to the interns. It's about how what they do in their position, or if they started as interns and how they made their way up, and just advice since we're looking for our career path and wanting to take any advice as we are exploring our options, and we're young, so that's the beauty of it. It was definitely very beneficial. I learned a lot, and I definitely hope everyone else took a lot from that as well. So.
What would you say was your favorite? Who spoke?
Oh, definitely Rahul and Jeff. They are awesome, and Rahul being my director, it was nice to see. I think they did an awesome job. They put together, or they really did engage, I think, well with everybody, because those skills are definitely important for any department. I also really enjoyed Randy's too on public speaking, because even though a lot of engineers are not doing public speaking as if that's something that typically like the marketing communications would be doing, but those are vital skills that anybody should know and have in their background. So I would say those were definitely the most engaging. I learned a lot, and I think everybody can take something from that. What about you, Delaney?
Yeah, I would say I want to highlight our National Intern Day we had last week. I think that one was really meaningful to everybody. We had all of the managers included. Our president of GDLS came down, talked with us for a bit. Our VP of HR, Clem, he came down for a little bit. I think it was nice because it was relaxing. Everyone just got to mingle, talk about their accomplishments, what they did. So I had some cookies, chips, dirty soda bar.
That was a hit. Dirty soda bar. A lot of people did not know what a dirty soda bar was.
Oh, yeah.
I had never heard of it beforehand.
Really? Oh, yes.
Good one.
I know.
We're repeating it this week.
We are.
HR.
Oh. Unfortunately.
The leftovers.
Oh.
But
Same
no.
one for me.
Well, no, that makes me bring up. We have Wednesday from Scranton. We have an intern over there. He's coming to visit us.
Oh, that's awesome. Just show them the place.
Yeah, I think he's the only intern at that location.
Really?
So
Okay.
yeah, we'll have to walk him around, let him meet everybody.
Mini intern event.
Maybe. But I think that's also the glory of like us, our locations. We have 45 interns. We have 6 Digital Lakes, 45 direct.
It was super nice to be able to meet everybody. I'm so thankful we had these opportunities to do events not only just at work but also outside of work. So that was awesome, and you make friends out of it, and that's the whole experience, to make those connections, build relationships, and I'm very thankful for that.
Definitely for me, that was huge. Obviously, from coming out of state, I obviously knew nobody in the Michigan, Detroit area, and so obviously to make those friendships and those connections here, and have a group of friends that I can hang out with outside of work, was really made the internship in the summer a unique experience.
Absolutely.
I would agree. Me and Mike are both staying at Oakland University. They have a student housing program for interns during the summer, and we're just a few houses down, so it's pretty convenient if we're after work, just like, hey man, what you doing?
Go to the gym. Let's play pickleball.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, and moving on, what advice would you give future interns that are maybe interested in General Dynamics or the defense industry overall?
Yeah, I'll take this one. Definitely just build your connections. Obviously, that's huge for just getting in. But also while you're there, continue to reach out and talk to people, especially people that are not even in your department. That was something that I made sure to do. So, I'd be walking around and I saw a guy in the project management department, picked up a conversation because he recognized the school. I was wearing the logo on my shirt, and that led to me having a couple meetings with him, getting to know him. There was another guy that I met that was actually from Charleston as well, and he worked in the compliance department. It was really cool just to hear from him and connect and build that relationship outside of supply chain.
I'd say for sure advice, even outside of GDLS, definitely show up and take advantage of the events they put on for you. I think that 30 minutes or 15 or even the 3-minute conversation you have with someone can do you good in the long run. You never know when that LinkedIn connection will help you out in the long run. So I'd say definitely show up, make it known you're there, and be included in everything for sure.
I would say stay curious, ask questions, ask for help. For some reason, I feel like there's always a bad stigma around asking for help, but I feel that the directors want you to ask for help, and get the clarification you need to effectively do a diligent job on your project, and just to learn. The whole internship experience is really to learn and watch professionals execute certain projects in the workforce, and that's really the whole point of an internship, like I said, is to learn and get clarification that you need, make connections with those that work around you, and you can build those relationships and network, because maybe one day you'll be working again with them, and it'd be awesome. Oh, hey, I know we worked together, this department so long, That's what's nice. I also really like the fact that we're in person, and I would say that I'm a people person. Obviously, that's really my major at school is public relations and communications. So I'm consistently talking to people and presenting, and I really like that I'm able to make connections with those around me, and be able to do that really for my job, as just speaking. So,
I'd say for me, my best advice would be to do something you're interested in. I mean, it's not always that you're going to be able to be in a position where you are genuinely invested in what you're working on, but it definitely helps a lot to show up every morning and the subject matter of what you're going to be working on is something that personally excites you. That can go a long way from turning something that would otherwise be just a job that you have to drag yourself to every morning to something that you look forward to. And you're not always going to get that, but do your best to stay curious in a different way. Find the excitement in whatever it is you're doing, even if it's something that doesn't presently excite you. I guess that makes sense.
Absolutely. No, it's definitely important, and I'm so glad that I made friends and I'm able to collaborate well with them, and that's one thing that I can say that I've learned is to reach out to other departments, figure out how to get the job done effectively. That's super important. And at the end of the day, like I said, we're all here to learn, and we're here to gain the best experience, and that will prepare us in the long run.
I would say also, just to piggyback, is like when you meet people and make those connections and friendships, it's like something as little for advice. Obviously, you take those breaks during your workday, but something as so little as like a 10-minute walk. We're lucky enough to have a little outdoor track, but that can like really break up your day and make your day better and go by fast or
Snacks
whatever.
help.
Yeah.
I'm always, I'm kind of stuck, so I'm just like, bring snacks.
Having the Starbucks helps.
Oh,
too.
the Starbucks is very convenient for people who love it like me, so.
Yeah. I'd say also the one thing I'm so shocked about is just how open the whole environment is. I mean, you'll stand in line at the coffee shop and in front of you is Dave, the president, and he'll just talk to you. I mean, they are so welcoming, and I definitely think they give us a sense of like comfort there, and they want us to be there, and they want us to learn and talk to them and ask questions. So anytime you see any of them walking down the halls, they definitely are there to support you.
And I feel I've been so accustomed to this internship for, it's been 4 months now, but in a way I also feel like it's been, I've been working here for a lot longer, and I think that's due to the fact that I've, made great connections, and I've really enjoyed it working here.
No, definitely, the welcomingness was definitely one of my key takeaways. First day I had so many buyers just come by, introduce themselves, say hello, and that just continued throughout the whole internship. So from day one all the way to my last day, I've continually felt welcome and appreciated for being there.
Mm-hmm. I can say that it feels like home here, and I don't really want to go back to school, but I felt very welcomed, and I'm sad it's wrapping up, but I can use this time to reflect on my amazing experience. It was very beneficial. I'm very thankful.
10 out of 10
Absolutely.
internships. 10 out of 10.
It is awesome.
Would do it again. Would
Absolutely.
recommend.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for having us.